Yo.
Whoa, we're all rich. Yeah, yeah, we're fucking rich. No, don't be silly. Don't be silly. What a couple of days it's been. Hey, I was picking out like red Lambos, yellow Lambos, customizing my interior and stuff today on the Lambo website. On the Lambo website, no. Well, I was, but that was just,
Were you?
that was just a bit of fun. It was you can if you actually do go to the Lamborghini website, you can customize like your interior and your rims and stuff. A boy can dream, but anyway, let's get away from that nonsense. I hope you've been well. Let's just say first and foremost, because this happens every single time. Every single time BTC runs and you miss out on a move, you DM myself or ads or whatever it is. Don't worry about it. There's going to be another trade. Don't sweat it. Don't get caught up. Don't FOMO in, for God's sake. We're going to get into what we feel is going to happen on BTC. And let's keep in mind, emotions are high at the moment. Everybody's posting charts of their wins and all that stuff, which is great. So congratulations to everyone that's made money in this. That's a great thing. That's why we do this. That's why we trade this market. But don't FOMO into anything as of yet until the dust settles. We were on a mentor call with someone that we're mentoring at the moment behind the scenes, and said the same thing. You know, the best thing to do in situations like this, if you are not in the market, stay aside. You've not lost money. That's a good thing. You just haven't made the money. And there's always going to be money to be made, but you are so better off erring on the side of caution, exercising patience, waiting for reversals, waiting for clear signs. You can't just go shorting a bullish asset hoping to pick tops or pick bottoms, and we've said this for years. Just be patient. Who cares what BTC is doing? Who cares what the market is doing? There's a market here that we can trade, whether it be Forex, cryptocurrencies, or otherwise. There has always been a market. There is always going to be a market. So don't let it, bother you if you feel like you haven't made money, or you see everybody posting wins and stuff like that. You just got to remove yourself from that and run your own race. Don't worry about what everybody else is doing. Me saying the whole Lambo moon thing, we're all rich. That's just a joke. Yeah. So don't get caught up by that. No, we're realistic around here. But anyway, so you might notice we're on a new, hopefully clearer, better stream tonight. We've steered away from Zoom, and we're focusing on streaming here on Discord. It's been a learning curve, but it's been I think it's going to be a lot better just sort of hosting here natively, and we'll be on a couple of other platforms soon, but still on the Facebooks and the YouTubes and stuff like that. But hope you're enjoying this week. Hope you're enjoying the games and the trades and all that. So without further ado, Ads, I think we should just kick right into it and have a squiz at what's going on.
All right, bear with me. I'll bring everything to fruition.
Yes. Even though we've been sharing our beta steamroller in the Discord, this is our beta version of our first stream. So bear with us. So thank you to everyone also while we get this set up that has been that has signed up to the beta testers for Steamroller. You'll now have access for the next couple of weeks to have a little bit of a play. You can see Steamroller here down the very bottom there. This center indicator that we have here. So the feedback already has been great. We've got people scalping on the 1 minute time frames, Ollie. We've got guys who are using it for higher time frame swings on Forex, on cryptocurrency, on traditional markets. So the feedback already has been great. So to those guys, enjoy this because it's been a labor of love, and we absolutely love sharing it with you.
Absolutely.
Let's go, Ad. Let's do it.
BTC. It has been relentless. But there is still a few targets for us to smash through before we say, look, we are bullish. And me and Ty were talking just behind the scenes just a second ago. And we were sharing thoughts on, what we think is going to transpire over the next couple of days, and our thoughts are pretty in unison right now on what we think is going to happen. But in any case, we were hanging around, this 10,000 mark, and I did expect this to be a little bit more tricky to get through than it was. We only had a slight hold up on the 4 hour time frame if we look at the candle from late last night at about 10 o'clock Melbourne time. And I did think, honestly, and I am completely honest with everybody here, I didn't think that we would smash through this immediately. I didn't think this was going to be a play straight away. I think more I was waiting for some form of, flag maybe, or even some more sideways or more action to the right hand side of this supply before we smash through it. But FOMO does wonderful things, Ty. So we did smash through it, and the next target, or the next, I shouldn't say target, but the next level of interest was that 10.4 mark, and I will zoom out for you guys to see where I drew that from, and it is a daily zone. So straight on the daily there, as you can see.
On the T word there, brother. Let's not get you on the T word around.
Yeah, but next level of interest being at around that 11.4, we had that hold up or that pause in the market. The next one up from there is quite a long-standing level of supply, and it is virtually untested with the exception of the rejection here on the 6th of August. But the next one is around the 12,250 level. So that's the next really level of interest if we do smash through this supply that runs all the way up to 11.5. Is that going to happen, however? Yeah, I think we've had more of a reaction this time off a level of supply than we have off any previous level that we've come up against so far. So especially looking at this one at 10.4, there was basically no reaction besides, one little hold up for about, 4 to 8 hours roughly before we smashed through it and headed for the next zone quite relentlessly. But this one has given us quite a significant reaction with 3 bearish candles forming now. And I don't know if we're going to have the momentum to smash through again. But like me and Ty were discussing, if this run was a little bit more gradual, and we had a little bit more of a sustained money flow into BTC, then I'd probably say yes, we could probably come up and retest that level at 12-ish. But because we have put all of our eggs in one basket, and by we I mean the market and the FOMOers, I don't know if we're going to have enough legs to get there, Ty. What do you think?
Yeah, and this is sort of like a sort of three black crowish formation, if you want to sort of call it kind of like that. And then this borderline pin bar where we've come off this top supply here. So I was just saying to ads behind the scenes, and I'll share it when I share with you my screen in just a moment as well. We were talking about on the 4 hour at least, this run up beforehand, where last week where I said to the guys that I thought this was an accumulation range, and then I thought all we needed to see was a little bit of a sign of strength and a markup phase to where we are now. So in my opinion, I think if we close and hold above 10.5 or hold and close above this demand zone that we've got here, I still think we'll be on track for higher moves. I've got some upper regions of interest around my next one from 10.5 was 10.96, 11.32, which was my 261 extension that I had on my fibs, and then my sort of top range area of interest, let's call it that, sits at around 11.676 is my next range up, which is getting towards the top end of this supply that ads has drawn in here. And then beyond that, my next sort of target is very much where ads has hits, and then a very final sort of top area of around 13.2 is where I'm using some different sort of strategies that I've got in place that seem to be respected, using Garn and a couple of other things that I don't publicly share that have all sort of been pretty bang on target. Although, as I said to ads before here, I was not expecting this sort of parabolic move, and I think that ties in well, just going back a quick step, to this accumulation range we're seeing. In my opinion, this is just my opinion, and I say this publicly because I'm happy to be wrong, because we learn from it when we are wrong. But I'll publicly go on record by saying that I'm sticking with what I said last week. I do feel this is a markup phase. I do feel we are getting to the top or very close to a distribution range, which makes sense. I think, and as I said to ads, had we have not been in this sort of parabolic move upwards and always a sustained move up over a matter of weeks from 9.8 to 10.5 to 11.3 or to wherever the hell we hit 11.425, and then up even further, I would see that as healthy sort of upwards growth with relative pullbacks, not these quick sharp pullbacks and then these other these more sort of parabolic sort of moves. So that, to me, that looks a little bit more like a markup phase where we're headed to the top. We sucker in all these FOMO, these late buys, the silly money, whatever it is you want to call it. Which if you want to do that, by all means go for it, because you still could get some gains if you're a short-term scalper or whatever it is. This is your market right now. But for the majority and their swing traders alike, like ads and I, wait till the dust settles before you jump into things. So I feel we're in a markup phase. We're drawing in a lot of fresh or silly money. Who will continue to buy moves to the upside every single time. Like, there will be a ton of buyers right now, a ton of buyers absorbing this distribution, or this little mini Elliott wave markup, even though it's not an exact markup Elliott wave that we see from an accumulation to a distribution. That markup phase is like the Elliott wave that we often see that Wyckoff spoke about. It suckers in enough people where even when we start getting to the top, there would have been people buying right there at 14.2, and then probably a buy set up further for people that are silly enough to buy into this. So in my opinion, markup, distribution, all the big guys who have accumulated back down to that 9 area are selling into the FOMO buys, and then we head back down. So keeping in mind that I think there was a gap up at around 11.6, I think, and then we've still got another gap that hasn't been closed yet at around 9.6. So for me, if we do continue down and we can't hold above 10.5 here, that seems like a pretty logical area for me where we may be headed back down. Now, all gaps don't close, but the statistical likelihood of a gap being filled is about 95%. So that's something to keep in mind as we continue upwards. And as I said, don't FOMO into any rallies. There's some USD pairs which I'm going to share that I'm looking at closely that are looking really, really nice. And I think the best thing for alts now, if you are an avid alt trader like me, is the discounts that we're seeing at the moment. We're already seeing some recoveries. Ion 7% up, Algo 4.5%, Atom 4.5%. So if you are scalping alts at the moment, there's some really great little opportunities here, and it shows that when BTC pulls back, the money's going back into alts. And if BTC can find a range again, then it's going to be brilliant for the alt. So do I think we're headed back down towards that sort of 7, 6, 5, 6, 3, 4 mark? No, I don't. I think we definitely could be entering a new paradigm for BTC. But with these parabolic moves, you can't see sustained upwards momentum like this when it happens this quickly. It needs to be sustained. It needs to be gradual for it to be much healthier for continued upwards momentum. So am I seeing 20K soon? No, I'm not. Whew. That was a long-winded explanation. Where's my water? When I get on my rants, it's just far too easy to be suckered into the hype of moves like this. You see everyone posting their gains and all the bullshit that goes along with it, and it makes you feel like shit. I remember when I was a beginner trader and I would see that and I would look for any sort of revenge trade that I could, and I burnt myself so many times. And that's just why we don't post things like that here at UTG. Sure, it's a great way to feel motivated, and if that makes you a better trader, then by all means, but I honestly fucking hate it because I know that a lot of people are feeling shit like that. There was Flood and Chimp Zoo posted today, not publicly, but you could tell what they were talking about. One of their best friends committed suicide today because he ran, he was short a massive position. And he got liquidated, lost, I probably imagine, millions of dollars, and he committed suicide today. So people really do get caught up in the emotion. So it's horrible to hear that, and don't let this bother you. It's yeah, there's money, but that's why we don't trade with more than we can afford to lose. This is just a game. So don't let it affect you mentally because it's not worth it.
Absolutely, wonderfully said.
Cool. So yeah, that's my thoughts. Yep, that's it. I'm gonna shut up while I'm ahead. Let's have a look at ETH, unless you've got anything else to add to that, Ads.
No, absolutely not. We can move on that one. So that's our thoughts on BTC. ETH USD though, in a very similar position to BTC. I haven't drawn in a supply because this this extension level on Fibs, thank you very much, Ty, is respected beautifully. I think, and it did have a number of shots at it, and we are starting to retrace now. The thing that I want to point out very quickly is that if we draw our relevant level of 4 hours demand in there that we formed just earlier, 2 days ago, at around the 300 mark, we have pushed through this recently. Okay, so a number of hours ago now, earlier this morning, we did push through. We are retesting that level again. We have cleared this zone out anyway, though. I will leave it in just for your reference for the guys watching. But it could be a catalyst for a further move down to 283 and 75 cents on ETH. But the next couple of hours are really going to tell the tale. We've seen, CCI, RSI be absolutely topped out around the 85, 80 mark, and Steamroller is still at that level too. So we're seeing some definite, not definite, but I'm pretty confident that we're going to probably have a decent move down, at least to one of these levels of consolidation before a further move to the upside. So I think 38.2, 83, 283, excuse me, is going to be on the cards for the immediate term, Ty.
And can you smell that? That's the smell of opportunity. So pay attention. If you missed out on these moves, this is where you need to be paying attention. I'm an avid trader of ETH, the BTC and USD pairs I like, and that's pretty much exactly what I'm looking at. This sort of what Ads has there is pretty much exactly what I have on my charts. I haven't really changed anything that I had here. That move from 281.44, so 242 to 281.44 was respected essentially to the dollar on my charts here. And I had topside targets of around 357. We clearly didn't make it to that point. So that 281 zone is relevant for me because of how we consolidated around it. We wicked up, bounced down, retested, and then headed back up again. So pretty much what Ads has there and what he's just said is exactly what my thoughts are. So around that 302 level, I will absolutely be looking at what I am doing with ETH. And if you believe long term in the value of ETH, then certainly that might be of an area of interest for yourself. But I've got further buys laid down all the way down to that sort of mid demand zone that Ads has there.
Perfect. All right, moving on, we'll have a quick look at XRP USD like we usually do. XRP doing well for me, Ty, just for your reference, just for your knowledge there. But in the same sort of boat. So if I just update this chart a little bit, and I'll do this on the fly for you guys.
You noticed my radio silence there, Ads?
Yeah, I did, and it was, I knew it was your intention. So if I draw the fibs from swing high, obviously, to swing low on a daily time frame, we have respected the 50 very, very nicely. Just a little bit of front run there. I'd say that's a touch. Close enough is good enough. But just missing out on that supply, and I think this isn't going to be immune to that downwards action or downwards movement if we do see that on BTC and ETH over the coming hours. There is some immediate term levels that I'd like to point out to you guys. There is this level here, if I would point it out there, and it's a little bit hard to pick the right one coming, through this area here. So if I had to pick it on the 4 hour, it would probably be this. So you've got 20 cents and you've got 19.5 and 18.5 as the immediate demand zones on the 4 hour time frame. And look, a lot of our indicators are supporting this fact, but we could, hit the first one and then create the next parabolic move to the upside. So we need to stay on our toes with this. Obviously crypto can be unforgiving, like I did say in the Discord update this morning. So I hope you guys pay a lot of attention to what we say in there, because it is good info. But that's all I wanted to really say about XRP, bro. Honestly, we've bounced off that 50. It's on the same trajectory as BTC and Ethereum, where 20 cents would be my first area of interest. That does line up with that 38. Go back to the 12. Yeah, it does line up with that 38 fibs at around the 20 cent level there. Do we want to have a look at some Forex pairs, bro?
We do.
Do we?
We do have a look at some Forex pairs there. Anything that we say or show, I need to have something, I need to have something printed out that I read from each week. Anything we share when it comes to Forex is not financial advice. This is a regulated market. This is purely educational material only. We're only sharing our own TA. This should not TA that should be followed to trade at your own risk or something along those lines.
With the DXY, obviously the US dollar currency index, we have been seeing what I've been saying and harping on about in our private sessions, our inner circle private sessions that we ceased a few weeks ago now. I've been saying this and saying this and saying this, and the guys probably thought I was a broken record, talking about how the US is printing all this money and the DXY is going to tank, and it is finally it is doing that, because that's what these things do in a recession. So we have seen this fall from grace, from that 100.6, 100.8 level to all the way down to 93.4 points there on the US dollar index. And I've been looking at these zones play out very, very nicely. So we reach a zone, do exactly the same thing as BTC. We reach just in the opposite direction. We reach a zone, we hang around there for a bit, and we smash through it, and then we retest it and continue to the next one. And that's all that's been happening. Nothing too crazy. It's been pretty easy to play, honestly. We've reached the next one here at 93.4. We are having, a short-term bounce, and more than likely that short-term bounce will probably be a little bit more significant than any of the previous ones that we've seen, just because of this slippage, this massive downwards trend, parabolic but the opposite way, obviously. So we could see this retest to 94.8, and even retest as far as probably the previous level that we broke through. Even though it's not valid anymore, it could be used as a retest for this, maybe a dead cat bounce if you want to call it that, on the DXY. So if we flick over to something like Euro or even AUD USD, we've seen these on a tear. These are just responding to what the DXY has been doing over the past little bit. I don't have this charted up in terms of supplies because the DXY is telling the story with the Euro in particular. But yeah, these have been just on a tear back up to what we think is where they should be at the moment. With AUD in particular, good time to start shopping overseas if you can even get stuff delivered here in Australia. But yeah, take advantage of all these moves, and the DXY has been, honestly, it's been pretty predictable. We knew this was happening. We knew these stimuluses were coming. We knew they were printing all this cash. So we knew these moves were coming, and we knew that anything that's paired, the opposite direction of the USD is going to, fare in the opposite direction. It's going to pump, AUD included. So that's been faring better than I expected. But if we had to have a look at, a slight pullback for Euro for the moment, then, some of these levels of demands will play out and will line up with some of these fib levels quite nicely. And that's another way to determine if your levels are in the right spot. Just a quick hint there. But yeah, the first level has been, this 1.171 level, which has been, quite respected so far. But more significant pullbacks are probably in order, and that goes for a lot of the major pairs that are paired against USD. The ones that I want to look at, however, are silver and gold, because they are starting to, give some of those parabolic moves back. And I've seen a bit of this thrown around Facebook as of late, where this could be leading the pack for BTC's pullback. And while I don't discount that at all, it could be sort of correlated that way. More than likely not, but we'll see. Honestly, I expect silver to really get back to that 22.7 mark. I can't give you any more guidance than that. But if I'm looking at some of these fib levels, the 6-1 extension on our swing low to swing high has been respected quite well. So I'm leaving these fibs in place, and we've seen that this 23.6 has been correlated with that massive wick that we've seen. So I probably can expect this to retest this level of demand, and maybe smash through that if we have enough momentum over the London and New York sessions coming up. The last one I want to quickly look at is gold in the same sort of scenario. I haven't charted gold actively. I've been looking at these admittedly on a daily time frame, and we're looking like we're at all-time highs here on gold at 1985 level. So I haven't been really paying attention to the smaller time frame charts, admittedly, on gold. Silver more, a little bit more so because of the higher percentage differences between your entry and exits, but gold a little bit less so. So you have to sort of drop your leverage if you're trading higher time frames. But in any case, the 23.6 has been respected. We are seeing a little bit of volatility here where we had the massive wick off this level, and nothing in particular. More than likely, if we draw trend-based Fibonacci to determine why this stopped there, it would probably line up quite well with a fib level, and we'll do that. Actually, we'll do that. So if you haven't used this before, come left-hand side, trend-based fib extension, swing low, swing high, swing low again, and there it is. So your one extension there lines up very closely, 1986.9 on gold. That's more than likely the reason why it started to decline from that level. That 786 correlates with that 23 I had just up previously. So 618 is that going to be that little pocket there for more than likely these moves down, especially for gold. If we're looking at daily swings though, daily demand levels, it's a little bit of a stretch, but it could fall back to the $1,800 mark. That's the nearest level of demand on the daily time frame. So more than likely, if we do see these levels get smashed, that's where we'll end up at around that 1,800 mark. So all that remains to be seen over the course of the remainder of this week and next week, Ty.
Very good, sir.
Yes, I think so. I will get off your screens and I'll let Ty have a look at some alts and some USD pairs.
Let's make sure this works.
It'll work, bro.
It'll work.
It'll work.
All right, I'm just going to have a look at a couple of pairs here because I don't want to bore you with the mundane. But anyway, there's a number of alts that are looking quite good right now. Where my focus is sort of playing at the moment is in the USDT pairs. Go here just because this is where I'm trading. So one of the ones that we looked at today, our brother Fergs and I were looking at a couple of pairs. So what I'm looking at the moment and looking at the daily volume that's coming into a few of these at the moment as well. I'll just bring up the USDT pairs. That's why I love this tool so much. A USDT pairs. So looking at some of the volume that's been coming, I'm just going to reset this. Just give me a second. It might be a little bit different because I'm on a different browser today. Anyway, we're having some technical difficulties with that. Anyway, what I'm looking at now is LTC USDT. There's been some really nice volume coming into this over the last couple of days. And what I'm looking for is a hold above this $51 mark. Looking at the daily, Steamroller, I think, is due to give us a potential oversold condition. But looking at where we are here in this structure to the left, there's potentially a nice little trade in that if we can hold above this region. We've rejected pretty well off this trend line that I've got drawn for a number of reasons. You can see how I trade alts on the weekend. We shared exactly how I trade alts and how I look for setups. You can watch that video. But again, off the 50 fib here. So $51 and then down to as low as $48.19. I'd like to see us close and hold above that level just due to what we've seen here on the left-hand side. The volume coming into this at the moment is looking pretty indicative that we could be seeing some potential moves to the upside. It kind of makes sense. We see this so often when BTC runs. ETH and BTC have their runs, and then the cycle sort of starts again. We see high caps, mid caps, low caps, back to sort of mid caps, back to high caps. Running where the transfer of money is going. Obviously, people who are trading alts to accumulate sats, not so much on the USDT pairs, but with the BTC pairs, they're accumulating sats, putting it back into BTC. BTC has its move. They cash out back into Tether or back into whatever it is that they're into, and then the cycle sort of repeats. So that's sort of what I'm looking for in some of these higher value USDT pairs. If we zoom out, we're trending quite nicely above the 200 MA. We've got our 50 and our 100 due to cross. Looking at Unicon, we had a beautiful entry signal here and a little cradle sort of bounce from this point of control, this 43.86. I take some of the noise off. This is one thing that I'm looking at, is that we've come very closely here now to touching this 200 MA, and that's why this trend line in this 50 is going to be significant if we can close and break above that. On the 2 day, still a little bit of room to move as well. Looking at the volume profile, we can sort of see where our volume nodes are headed. The next sort of highest or higher round of volume nodes lines up quite well with that 61, the 61.8, which happens to be the 61.40 mark on that. So I've sort of got some moves all the way up from there, but I'm waiting for confirmation before I jump in too aggressively on anything like this. Looking at our Itchy, again, you can sort of see how relevant that 54.23 level is. again, doesn't matter whether you're on standard or if you're on crypto settings. I would ideally like to see a break above the 54. If you are trading with Ichimoku, you want to see the Chiku break through that cloud. So we've sort of got our first bit of this is using our Unimoku indicator. We've got quite a nice TK cross. We are getting a Kumo twist here, a bullish Kumo twist. Our Senku span A and B are starting to point upwards, indicating a little bit of strength. And then we're waiting to see a break through the Kumo with our Chiku to sort of confirm that we could be on here with LTC. So this is one that I'm watching at the moment. Link USDT has come back and wicked exactly off what I thought it would wick off. Here for you breakout traders, there's still a phenomenal. I'm not going to use that word. There's still a lot of volume coming in to Link USD at the moment. So for you breakout traders, this is the level that I'm watching for a potential move to the upside. Let's say if we can close above this sort of 752 level, there could be some nice little moves in that. Still 10%. And then I think with the following that Link has and the amount of volume that we've consistently seen coming into this over the last few weeks and months and still today, there's a very real likelihood that we could see that happen. But at the moment, we're in this nice little range, which we are in. That's a 14% range. Although we're making lower lows, that's why I wouldn't jump the gun on entering anything just as of yet. But sort of got a very rough sort of little formation playing out here, but I'm not paying too much attention to that. This is what I'm paying attention to. I really want to see this bottom level hold over the next couple of days. If we don't continue upwards, then that 649 level is where I want to hold. But looking at some of our indicators here, our Stotch, our on balance volume, and our steamroller, indicating that this range could be set for a little bit of time. This one I'm quite enjoying the look of. ZEC. We were talking about this today. I'm going to get rid of that because you don't need to see anything like that. Looking at where we are here, if you notice this, and listen, I'm not putting a ton of weight on that, but I do love my W's and my M's. Looking to see if we can close and break above that 75.67 mark, and then there's a little bit of clear air, in my opinion, if we can close above that level. The 50 obviously acting as 71.29, acting as a little bit of resistance at the moment. We can see here to the left, if I can stop drawing lines, how significant that has been in the past as a rejection level. But if we can flip that, have a resistance turn support, I would like to see where this could continue to head. And again, we can see how significant that is. Although we've got limited data here, you can go and chart it on different exchanges, so you could lower that because we've got less data. But again, really, no matter what way you look at it, this level around this 75.67 is going to be significant play. I'm going to look at two more rather. Bitcoin Cash. A lot of people very bullish on Bitcoin Cash at the moment. Let me get rid of this. So it looks like this level's been pretty well rejected here. This 270.68 level. A close and break above that is what I want. You can see here where we consolidated this sort of demand supply zone rather that we've got here around this 272, this sort of 280 level. If we do close and break above this 272, there's a little bit of clear air again up towards this sort of range top, which would be around the 307 mark. Not getting too excited. I want to see what the next couple of days brings. However, BCH is definitely one that I have got my eyes on. The daily, a little bit of a doji candle there representing a little bit of indecision. We very well could fall back into this range that we have been in for a little bit of time, which could be a nice little opportunity if you're going against the bullish narrative. But I'm definitely wanting to see where this goes. So I'm going to set a couple of alerts for myself here. And I'll let y'all know what plays out from that. XRP USD. Did we look at that? I think we did look at that, didn't we, Ads?
We did.
Beforehand. ZIL was another one that someone mentioned beforehand. I'm not going to pay too much attention to that. I really don't like that. So let's have a look at ETC USDT. Someone just brought this to my attention a short time ago, a friend of ours, Ads. So again, sitting in this little sort of range here. So that's looking nice in the sense that we could get a retest of this downtrend line and then potential move back up. On the daily steamroller telling us we still do have a little bit of room to move. Looking at our MAs, that's pretty sexy when you look at it from that sort of standpoint. We've got a nice little MA cluster. Looking at Unimoku, I dare say we're becoming very close. If not, we've already got it. We did. Giving us our cross, a nice little candle bounce from there, and a bullish engulfing, which fits the narrative. So that's an interesting one. I'll look to see where this one can close in the next day or so. Obviously, looking to the right, this is going to present. So I'm going to pop an alert there. So again, the 50 is going to present here as a little bit of a challenge, but looking at where we have here, we do have some nice sort of cloud support at around that 650 kind of mark. So I'm not going to write off ZEC just because we don't get a bounce from this level here, but still taking a look at it, this is looking quite good. I think I would be pretty interested in taking a look at this if we can continue upwards from here. It's looking pretty good. I'm just going to have a quick scan at ETC. So it's still seeing increasing volume. We've had some pretty decent volume coming over the last little bit. The liquidity index is rising, as is the daily volume on ETC. So definitely something that I'm going to be taking a little bit of a look at would be ETC USDT. So that's where a bit of my focus is going at the moment. Just very quickly looking at our watch list here, having a look at FBTC. You can sort of see where all my levels were down here. You can see that we did break above that 127. We didn't quite have the strength, and we're sitting now perfectly, have bounced perfectly off this previous top level. And looking at Steamroller and the accuracy of it there and where we're sort of headed in terms of a lot of our indicators, I still think there might be some downside for ETC. BTC on the cards as the BTC dominance starts to increase a little bit, and especially if we see another sort of parabolic move to the upside like we've seen in the last couple of days, I think ETC BTC might continue sort of shitting the bed a little bit. But looking from here, we do have a nice little bit of EMA support here around this previous sort of topish level at around 27.5 sats. But looking at it now, I probably won't go into these too much because I don't want people to be jumping into alts too unnecessarily, but you can see how the 27 fib extension was respected quite well. When we see this, I would probably not expect it to go too much higher than this 982 sat mark on ION, and then potentially a double bottom before the next sort of round of moves presents itself. Algo is having a go at the moment. I've not looked at any of these in a little bit of time. BNB is always one that I watch a little bit, especially when it comes to these IEOs that have been going on, because people need to be holding BNB. What was another one someone was telling me to watch? FET was one that someone was telling me to watch. Looks like we've got a double top here now on fair. This looks very reminiscent of ZIL. So I would be interested to play that. Anyway, I'm not going to take up too much of your time because I'll probably have a look at these myself and then I'll post it inside the Discord. But yeah, the USDT pairs, LTC, ZEC, ETC, and in the XRP USD pair as well is something that I've been paying attention to. So just be careful trading alts right now. Be careful trading the market whatsoever right now. Don't let FOMO get the best of you. And if you have any questions, come into the Discord and ask Ads, Fergs, Zoff, or I. We're there to support you. We've got an incredible team of guys, and hopefully that will be growing soon as well with more people on the Forex side of things. So, yeah, unitytradinggroup.com. You can watch the videos. We've got a lot more content to be releasing over the next week or so in terms of trading guides and a few other little tricks up our sleeve when it comes to content over the next little bit. So, unitytradinggroup.com. Come into the Discord. It's 100% free now. We've been free for the last few weeks. Keeping up with all the incredible chats has been a challenge, but it's great to go back through it at the end of the day and see the excellent strategies that are shared and the little bits of wisdom and advice that come from all these new people that are in the Discord. So look forward to seeing you there, and then we'll see you again on Thursday. Thursday night, Ads.
Yeah,
I wasn't quite sure what day it was there for a second.
We'll see you all Thursday night. Thank you for watching.
Thanks so much.
Discord.
Take care. Bye-bye.